should you still come to the UK? Is it still worth it? I can tell you right now, to be sincere, the UK is overrated. But should you still come? I know some of you will say you don't want to hear UK content, but I'm sorry. My name is Gloria. Reintroduction. My name is Gloria. I'm your what? Your baby girl of life. And I live in the UK. I was born in Nigeria. I've lived here for a few years. And I talk about everything UK, everything, even the things you do not care about. Should you still come to the UK? Is it still worth it? With all the changes, all the drama, everything going on, and all the speculation, everything and all the changes, should you still come to the UK? I'm going to tell you the answer is both yes and no. And please, before you come for my head, listen and please watch and share. Should you still come to the UK? Yes. If you have a plan B, you want to come to the UK and you think from the UK you're thinking of going to other countries, you have other plans, yes, come. You want to come to the UK because you think all the changes that has been implemented will not affect you, will not have anything to do with you, yes, please come. You want to come to the UK because you know the currency in the UK is so high, and because the currency is that high, you can meet your financial need, you can help people back home, you can help yourself, you see a future, yes, please come. Do you want to come also to the UK because you know once you come to the UK, processing other countries will not be as difficult? Because I think it is actually more easy for you to fall victim of, scams, of being duped, of not knowing what to do back home compared to when you're already abroad or already in the UK. It is going to be easier process because you have the internet, you have the Wi-Fi, you have the resources, and you have that information, you have that resources, more access, and even more trust for you to process other countries. Yes. Do you want to come to the UK because you think wherever you are just now, it is not the best place, it is whatever the UK may be? I know everywhere is hard. The UK is hard, Nigeria is hard, Canada is hard, the whole world generally, it's unfairly hard, and it is still going to be hard, but on a different level of hard. But if you think that where you are right now is worse than whatever the UK will offer you, yes, please come. Why not? The UK is big enough. I know it's a small island, but I mean, at the end of the day, it is big enough for everybody to flourish without affecting each other. It is not my father's country, so I'm not going to discourage you. I'm not discouraging you. But no, please, do not come to the UK. If, number one, you think the moment you move to the UK, you're going to be financially settled. It's not like you have some thousands of pounds tacked somewhere. Even if you have a job that you're coming to do, you're still going to have to work for a few days, few weeks before you get paid. So you're not going to automatically become a millionaire. You're not going to automatically become rich. You may get there eventually. It's not an automatic fix. It is not a quick magic. So, if you think you're coming to the UK to change everything around, turn everything to be glorious, to be fine, to be like perfect, save yourself the stress. If you think if you're coming to the UK, all these changes about dependence and all that stuff is going to affect you so much, affect your mental health, affect your finance, affect your health, affect you in so many ways, and you think you're doing better in Nigeria, you have a better job, you're living in a more safe place, and you think with time things will get better for yourself, or you even think you feel you're very comfortable, you have all your house help, all the food you need, you have those lovely life that you may want to really think about it. If you have this thing that you think everything is working for you, your children are okay, you're okay, there's no point. It's not worth it. I'm not discouraging you. I'm just telling you. If you think if you come to the UK, you may at the end of the day maybe even lose yourself physically, lose your health, lose your marriages, and you've talked about the disadvantages of coming to the UK. I think it outweighs the advantages. Why will you want to do that? I would say, please, do not come. You want to come to the UK and you do not have a plan B. You don't have a sure way of staying back. For instance, some of you want to come on a visitor visa, but you don't know what will happen after the visitor visa is over, or you want to come to the UK on some kind of visa or study visa, some kind of visa that you don't see a future, you don't know what you're going to do after that. What is the point? So that is why I've said, There are advantages and there are disadvantages, and it is a yes and it's a no. Depend on how you look at it. At the end of the day, I'm not discouraging you, but I'm just going to round up this video really quickly. But before I do that, I'm going to tell you some of the reasons why you should consider, or you may want to consider, moving to the UK this year, even though at this point the UK is becoming overrated, even though at this point so many laws are changing, even though at this point things are becoming more strict. It's just as if, what is going on? Like, what is going on? What is the UK even calling themselves? Like, there are other countries. Definitely there are other countries. I'll just give you a few reasons as well why you may want to still consider coming to the UK. Number one is the currency. We all know, I know you agree with me that the pound is not the highest, but it is one of the most high valued currencies, meaning £1 is equal to large numbers of money somewhere else. So if you're earning pounds and you're the type that want to invest back home, invest somewhere else where the currency is not as high, you have good return for your value, although you're still going to have lots of expenses where you live. Depend on your financial responsibility, depend on how you're able to manage your finance. Once you save, let's say for instance you're managing to save £100 a month or whatever, you're able to save £100. That £100 is going to amount to something tangible in another country. I mean, when it comes to investment, for instance, let me say when I was back home, I was being paid 150,000 naira as a dialysis nurse back then. Years back, a long time ago, that was what I was being paid, and that's just about 150 roughly. Is even less than £150 just now in the UK. Do you understand what I mean? So that amount of money for you to be able to save 1 million back home, at that time for me to be able to save 1 million naira back home, I must have worked for almost at least over 10 months, almost a whole year, apart from my bills, apart from my expenses, before I'll be able to manage to save that 1 million naira a year. Before I'll be able to save that 1 million naira a year, that means I must have worked for almost a year and saved everything or half of to third of that income. But it is actually that in the UK for me to say, okay, I can save 1 million a year. Do you understand what I mean? I'm not saying I'm rich. I'm not saying you will become rich, but I'm just saying because of the high currency, it is something that is very advantageous. And when you're changing that currency back home, it is very tangible. Another thing is the diversity, and depending on where you live, I shouldn't even be saying this because I live in Scotland, and yes, I would say, actually when I first moved here, we hardly see black people, we hardly see ourselves. Before I can buy any food, even up to now, I have to travel to Edinburgh before I can buy African food, or Glasgow, which is an hour or 40 something minutes away from me. But at the end of the day, depending on where you're living, if you're in London, if you're in England, some part Manchester, even Aberdeen, some part of the UK, there's a lot of diversity because there are so many students coming in. So you're likely to meet people from China, India, Africa, from different parts of the world. So there's this diversity, there's this tendency to be more socialized. Another reason why you may want to consider moving to the UK even right now is because of education. You know that the UK schools or UK universities still count, or they're still one of the universities where you have good standard of education. There are still few of those universities that count as one of the top universities in the world. For young children, education, I would say, is free, although some of you will come from my head because you say you pay tax. Yes, we pay taxes, but at the point of service, it is free. Meaning, even though you're paying your immigration health surcharge, depending on what visa you're on, even though you're paying for your insurance, you're paying for tax, you're paying this, you're paying that, at point of service, if you do not have £1, if you do not have £1, you can go and you can access health. Does it make sense? So that is also one reason why you may consider. Imagine you being able to dialyze. In fact, I found that really interesting. Dialysis patients get dialysis for free, cancer patients for free. I'm not saying diseases are good, but I think this is so important to me because I'm a nurse. I work in the health sector. Even back home in Africa, I see how people suffer. I see how people sell their property just to have sections of dialysis. So coming here and see that you don't have to pay cash or pay anything at point of service was something that is commendable. So it means a lot to me. So even though you're going to tell me that it is not free, as much as I used to tell my patient, I'm like, I know you say it's not free, you've been paid tax, but can you calculate how much tax you've paid all your service a year, compared to how many sessions of dialysis you've had every week and how much that has cost, do you know that by now, I'm sure all the money you've saved or you've paid for tax and all those insurance and all that stuff, I'm sure that money must have run out by now. So look at it that way and know that health at point of service is free, which is something that is very important, especially when you cannot guarantee how healthy you'll be for the rest of your life. I think that's the point. I think that's the point. Another reason why you may want to consider moving to the UK is the access to other countries, especially European countries. And another thing is it is even closer to even other countries like Africa. If I want to go back to Nigeria, direct flight, 8 hours. I'm not advising you to leave. I'm not advising you to run away. I'm just saying these are some of the advantages that you may want to consider. And I'm not asking you to please come. If you already have it in mind to come, these are some of the reasons why you may still consider moving to the UK and be hopeful for a better future. Thank you so much for watching. And I'm still your baby girl, Gloria. Oh, I'm forgetting how to do this introduction. And I'm still your baby girl of life, Gloria Otinko. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, and click on the notification bell. And I'll see you in my next video. Until then, see you later.